ago. One thing stands in his way, and that one thing, a very tough customer by the name of Antoine Eccles. Alongside once more, my partner Rich Murata. And Rich, in Eccles, you got a guy with his 22 wins, 22 knockouts. This guy's no fluke. He's the real deal.
No, Antoine Eccles presents a very legitimate threat to the supremacy of Bernard Hopkins tonight, and in fact to any middleweight in the world, because of his singular ability to punch. He has fought progressively better opponents. He has been whacking them out one after another, including Kevin Tillman in a wild swinging fight. Look at the reaction his punch brings from Tillman. He's hurt immediately, but at the same time you see his free swinging style, which could possibly get him in trouble here this evening against someone as skilled as Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, and we talk about Eccles being a banger. Of course, Hopkins is the same way. Now, he can box you, but he can also finish. That may be something he does better than anyone in his division. That may be why he's been champion for 5 years.
Well, and despite that long reign that Bernard Hopkins has and a great record that he has to his credit, the fact is he is still a man in search of. He is in search of recognition as one of the best pound for pound. He's in search of the $1 million paydays he feels should correspond along with it. In his last fight, he dominated Robert Allen. This was a brilliant fight by Hopkins. They had fought a controversial 4-round and no contest in the fight before when he was thrown out of the ring basically by referee Mills Lane, accidentally injured his ankle, couldn't go on. People thought maybe he had reached the end of the line. That wasn't the case. Hopkins showed he's still got an awful lot left.
And despite the fact that he's not making the kind of money that he wants to make and very likely will make, this falls into that category of most important fight of his career, because this is the one that gets him there. Right now, let's meet the third member of our broadcast team. We take it to the champ, Sean O'Grady. Sean?
Thanks, Barry and Rich. Arguably, the toughest division in boxing is this middleweight division. The champion of that middleweight division is Bernard Hopkins. And Bernard, this is the 10th defense of your IBF championship fight. You're going up against a pretty tough character. How do you face him?
Punch. You win by punching, you win by fighting. You don't win by running, you don't win by holding, you don't win by any other thing but throwing punches, and hopefully he'll go down quick enough so you don't have to do any more damage to him.
Now, Bernard, you've said in the past you want glamour fights. This is a glamour fight for you. Well, you're not looking beyond this, are you?
All championship fights, I never look behind. I always look for the future. If I fight a fight today, it's impossible for me not look for tomorrow, because tomorrow keeps me motivated. A lot of people get misunderstood about when a guy said he wants this particular fighter and he's not fighting that fighter tonight. That means that's motivating me for the future.
Right. Well, you got lots of motivation tonight because you're going up against a very difficult opponent in Antoine Eccles. Back over to you guys. I think it's going to be a spectacular night of boxing. Very Rich?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Sean. This is a guy, though, that is all business. He's had some problems outside the ring. Inside the ring, he comes to fight, and that's what he's all about tonight. And the future for Bernard Hopkins is now. That's our main event. Before we get to that, though, another outstanding fight, I think. This should be an action fight in the junior lightweight division. Robbie Peden out of Australia and into your hearts gets it on with a veteran by the name of Benito Rodriguez. And, Rich, let's talk about Rodriguez. This is a guy that's been around the track more than once, and a couple of times he's hit the finish line first.
Yeah, I don't know how a guy suddenly starts getting good at the age of 33, but that's what's happened with Benito Rodriguez. His last 2 fights have been the greatest of his career, including a victory after fighting 8 other world champions. He goes in against Kevin Kelly this year, and look at that left hook, which knocks down the former world champion. Kevin Kelly, so highly regarded by everyone in search of another world title shot, was really surprised by Rodriguez, not only by that knockdown, but Rodriguez went on to dominate and win that fight in a solid decision.
So it's a very tough card to draw for Robbie Peden. He comes up from Australia. He had been off for a while because of an injury that was suffered outside the boxing ring. This is really only his second fight back, and this is a tough one for him.
Yeah, as he goes in against Rodriguez, but we liked what we saw out of Robbie Peden. He certainly is a kid who can bang. Trying to follow in the footsteps of Costa Tszyu, and he throws a Costa Tszyu-like punch there. That beautiful right hand that knocked out Eloy Ortega, in fact, in this very same ring just a few weeks ago.
We always show you the tale of the tape at this juncture, but this time we're going to show you a tale of 2 fighters, really, and there's such a huge difference between Rodriguez and Peden, and that doesn't have anything to do with weight or height or reach.
No, it's all about experience, and in this fight, Peden is giving away experience, he's giving away rounds, he's giving away fights against world champions, and it's solidly in Rodriguez's favor. Now, can a young man go up, take the step up, and fight this kind of a fight against an experienced opponent?
We're going to get those answers imminently, as right now we take it to the center of the ring, and Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy?
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the beautiful Miccosukee Resort and Casino in South Florida, as we have a big night of action in store for you. It's Fight Time on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by America Presents. Tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the Miccosukee Athletic Commission. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Stanley Simpson and Dr. Ramon Garcia Septien. Timekeeper at the bell is Jeremy Levine. All right, fans, here we go. This bout coming away as one of our special attractions, 10 rounds of boxing in the junior lightweight division. Introducing to you first our referee in charge of this bout, we have Jorge Alonso. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with red and green trim, hailing from Reynosa, Tamaulipas, Mexico. His weight 129 and 1/2 pounds. His record stands at 30 wins, 27 losses, and 2 draws, with 19 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the WBA Latin America's super featherweight champion, introducing Benito El Mulato Rodriguez. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round attraction, wearing silver trunks with black trim. He joins us all the way from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. He weighed in at the junior lightweight limit of 130 pounds even. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 14 wins, no losses, 9 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Robbie, the Bomber Peden. Once again, Jorge Alonso is our referee in charge, 10 rounds of boxing.
The dressing room, okay? I want to expect an amount of being 5 from both of you. Any questions here? You can knock that in there. Put him up.
And let's take a look at the Miccosukee rules. The 3 knockdown rule will be in effect. There won't be a standing 8 count. A fighter can be saved by the bell in no round, and only the referee can stop the fight. On the headbutt rule, we go to the cards after the 4th round. This one's scheduled for 10 junior lightweights, and we always kid about nicknames, but I think the Bomber, a very apropos nickname for Robbie Peden, Rich.
Yeah, and he's gaining in popularity. Certainly in Australia, the people know him there, but the fans got an opportunity to see him here in the United States not that long ago, and he did very well with that knockout win over Eloy Ortega.
Yeah, and you're comparing him to Costa Tszyu, I think, is a very, very fair comparison. I'm not trying to make necessarily a comparison as to the success level that Tszyu has attained and what Robbie Peden hopes to attain, but his style is very similar.
Yeah, he's a come-forward guy. Tszyu certainly would have more overall skills and abilities at this time, but he has the same kind of will, I think, as a Costa Tszyu does, and he has the same kind of feeling of he's going to do what it takes to win out there, which is basically coming forward and grabbing a victory.
Rodriguez, of course, with all the experience, and he's had some very good successes.
You look at his opponent list, you know, his record is barely over 500, Barry, but his opponent list has been unbelievable. Not only Kevin Kelly, the world champion, the former world champion that he beat earlier this year, but this is a guy who's fought Diego Chico Corrales twice, who's a current world champion, Freddie Norwood, current world champion, Julian Lorsay, Manuel Medina, and a lot of others who have just recently lost the championship. So he's put himself in tough from the very beginning of his career.
And then that whackout that we showed you a little bit of a moment ago against Kevin Kelly, that's his last fight. That's a great win. Sean O'Grady has joined us here at the table. That's a heck of a win for him.
It is a good win for him, and he's an exciting fighter. You know, he takes a great amount of respect in his career, and he likes what he does, and even with that left hook there. See the force that he has, the balance he has in the ring. He kind of just pushes his opponent off his feet.
Benito was quick to look up at referee Jorge Alonso there to let him know that was no knockdown. Peden getting that jab home in this round.
They've been trying to get him down, too. See him bending over. See, they're trying to lower his center of gravity. Kevin Berry, Roger Bloodworth in his corner, also Wes Cohen. Good people around him. Yeah. Surround him.
Bring him up. Protect yourself.
Rodriguez was looking at the referee that time.
Barry, protect yourself at all times. It's the first rule of the boxing ring.
Absolutely.
One of the most famous stories of boxing lore was a time when Jack Dempsey fought Sharky, and Sharky turned to the referee to complain about a foul. Dempsey took that opportunity when Sharky put his hands down to clock him one and knock him out.
Were you there?
No.
Wow.
But
That is amazing, Rich. Incredible.
We have a historian on our hands here, Sean.
We certainly do. He does a fine job every week. Nice, quick right hand by Peden. Peden has a lot of good weapons, too. He's got a good right hand, an effective jab.
I like Robbie Peden.
Yeah, fast.
Don't pull him. No me mira mi pelea, hombre.
End of the first round. Very effective first round for Peden. Typical round where he didn't get off the gas from the opening bell.
Robin Carter was sentenced to be imprisoned for life.
This December,
I'm dead. Just bury me, please.
experience the epic story of a champion's fight for justice.
The man's innocent, but he's been in jail 16 years. It's not right.
You give me hope, and it's more powerful than a fist can ever be.
Denzel Washington, The Hurricane, starts December 29th in select theaters.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Buckley.
Our Buckley's bedtime relieves dry, hacking coughs and runny noses, so you can get to sleep. See you in the morning.
When I was a kid, I just played basketball because I loved it. The creativity of the game, the competitiveness, the passion. It's a beautiful thing, and just pretty much having fun. You're going to love this game.
The corner of Benito Rodriguez, and the language of the choice here would be Spanish. Let's take a look at your scouting report on Rodriguez.
Well, Benito is a guy who's picked up skills through his great experience. He can punch hard. You saw that shot against Kevin Kelly. It's a guy who can punch, and he doesn't care who the opponent is. He's been in there with all those world champions, so Robbie Peden certainly doesn't scare him. Sean, how about Robbie Peden?
Robbie Peden has overcome some great tragedy in his life, beaten and robbed in his home. In the ring, he's a straight-ahead brawler with great power, and you saw that in the first round. Strong will to win, too. He really has a great desire for his career. He understands the importance of a victory in this one.
Now, he was talking to us about that beating. It was somebody that he actually knew and that had a little spat with, but he said it was nothing. He didn't even lock the door to his house, and in the middle of the night, it came in with a stick. And 55 stitches later, and a broken kneecap later, he was in the hospital. Main event tonight, of course, the battle for the IBF Middleweight Championship. The holder, Bernard Hopkins, against Antoine Eccles. 22-2, all 22 wins coming by way of knockout, a legitimate championship fight.
Robbie Peden is looking pretty legitimate to me through the first few minutes of this fight. In fact, to me, he looks even sharper than he did a few weeks ago when he knocked out Eloy Ortega, facing a much better opponent here tonight. Yet he has started off, I think, in much sharper fashion.
I think so, too. Remember, it was a 5-month layoff for him.
And you really see the sharpness in him. Watch, every time that Rodriguez reaches in with a punch, Peden just snaps him back. Watch how quick Peden is with his shots. Look at that. That is great timing. Perfect punches from Robbie Peden. Peden does a nice job getting down low. Never let your opponent under you. Look at that.
Very quick right hand, too.
I'm impressed with that quickness of hand, Robbie Peden.
Yeah, one of the most accomplished amateurs in Australian history. 5-time Australian national champion. Amateur record of 130 and only 15 losses.
Went on to the Olympic Games twice, in fact, Sean in 1992 and 96, and as he lands that right hand. Chol Choi Soo was the man who beat him in the 92 Olympic Games in the quarterfinals. He won 3 fights before that. He was a little bit low with that right hand.
Good jab. When you don't know what to do, jab. Peden is sticking that left out. You know, that's one thing that the amateurs do for you that's terrific, is they teach you how important that jab. Look at that. It controls the fight. You steer your opponent where you want him. You put him into your powerful right hand and then let him have it.
Rich, you mentioned it, but you can't emphasize enough the difference between this performance and the last. And he just looks so much quicker, so much more on balance, and that's taking nothing away from the last fight. He knocked the guy out in the 4th round.
Yeah, with a tremendous shot, but he's showing far more overall ability here tonight. In fact, he really pleased himself with that last little right hand he threw after he turned Rodriguez around. He smiled.
Oh, look at that. There's the quickness, the sharpness.
Not a knockdown.
Not scored a knockdown, however, anything you can do to put your opponent on the canvas. That was a good knockdown, although the front feet, I believe, got tangled up. Anything you can do to put him down. I have to speak with yours.
Now that's it.
Again, look, the balance. This is the strength that they're teaching him in the gym.
Right off the back of the head now, right?
Coming to the end of round number 2, Peden and Rodriguez, and we'll be back.
You've seen commercials showing how fast Tarnex removes tarnish from a spoon. Now, we're introducing better than ever, safer than ever Tarnex that cleans your entire sterling silver or silver plate dinnerware all at once and instantly. Just place them in Tarnex, remove, thoroughly wash, and dry. Reformulated Tarnex works instantly on the most intricately designed sterling, silver plate and gold platters, trays and dishes. It works just as fast on copper pots and pans. Wonderful for silver rings, bracelets, buckles, and earrings. And it's guaranteed to be the fastest and easiest sterling, silver plate, gold, platinum, and copper cleaner you've ever used, or return to place of purchase for a full refund.
At participating Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, Co-op stores, Pro Hardware, Duis Centers, Revy Home and Garden, True Value Hardware, and Zellers.
Bernard Hopkins getting his hands wrapped in preparation for his 10th title defense. Meanwhile, Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez in round 3 of what has been an entertaining fight is advertised.
Robbie Peden's left eye a little bit puffy right now. Very early portion of the fight for it to be puffed up.
Well, you know, it's interesting. We've been talking about Peden and how effective he's been. Rodriguez has gotten there with a couple of right hands, and Peden every now and then does drop that left hand just a little bit, and as quick as Peden is, Rodriguez can bring that right hand pretty quickly too.
You know what he does, Peden, is he cheats that left hand out. Watch, see how close he moves it toward his opponent? That way he doesn't have as far to travel. You have that left hand up there by your head, you have a longer way to travel with it. So see, he slips it out there closer to his opponent, then he taps him with it. See, look at push it out there, push it out there. Not as far, keep it closer, and then whap.
Incidentally, the referee between rounds came into the corner and told Robbie Peden, don't push the man down, as he has done on a couple of occasions. Said, next time you do, I'm going to take a point away.
Just one of the control factors that a fighter wants to get in his favor. Steer your opponent around with that left. If the referee tells you not to do it, you better be careful with it.
Rodriguez doing some good things in this round, landing some shots, especially to the body. Although he's got that puffy left eye of Peden to shoot for as a target, Benito's been aiming most of his attack toward the midsection in this round.
Benito says that he is a brawler slugger in the ring. Says he's a strong fighter, a fuerte. Likes to get in there and bang. Favorite punch is that punch, the left hook to the body. Step back, the gancho.
Better success tonight though with the right hand thus far. The left hand that stopped Peden on the way in.
He may be cheating his left hand out like Robbie's doing. Effective tool to use. I would like to see Peden bring that left hand up a little bit by his eye at times. Not all the time. It's okay to have this style sometimes. But occasionally bring it up around your eye to protect that left eye. So he kind of gives that to his opponent.
He seems to have a good sense of punching range. Doesn't waste a lot.
Pretty quick with that jab.
That's the sharpness of Robbie Peden right now.
It's combination again. Not huge punches, effective. Round number 3. A very effective round, I thought, for Robbie Peden. End of 3, we're going 10, and we're coming back.
Is your tissue soft enough to soothe her nose blow after blow?
Oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. The more I wipe, the worse this feels.
Introducing Puffs Plus, a tissue so soft and soothing it helps comfort noses blow after blow. Only Puffs Plus starts with a very soft tissue, then adds moisturizing lotion with aloe and vitamin E.
Wow, that's like magic. Can you feel the lotion? Next time, only lotion tissues for this dry nose. That would be magic.
Puffs Plus, like all Puffs tissues, knows how to treat a nose.
We start round number 4. Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez. That's Rodriguez with the green and red stripes on his white trunks. Peden's trunks trimmed in black.
We've talked a lot about Benito Rodriguez's win over Kevin Kelly this year, but prior to that, he posted a terrific victory. He fought a Panamanian champion by the name of Florentino Campbell, who brought an excellent record into the ring. He fought him in Panama, and he stopped him in 10 rounds. So that was the beginning of what is all of a sudden a career comeback for Benito Rodriguez.
You have it as a shutout so far, but Rodriguez, just by virtue of what you just mentioned, tough guy, even as the going gets later. And we told you Peden just in his second fight back after that break-in at his house in Australia. We asked him about it, and here's his description.
Bring him up, Robbie.
Basically, I had a home invasion. I left my door unlocked, and a guy came in and beat me with a stick, basically when I was asleep. I ended up with 55 stitches, and I was out of the ring for about 2 or 3 months. I couldn't train for about 2 or 3 months. I had a fractured finger, fractured kneecap. I had scars all over me, so I'm back onto it now, and hopefully we can get a roll and get a few wins up and get a title shot.
That is the game plan for Robbie Peden, and
you talk about an out-of-the-ring distraction.
Yeah, that's more than a distraction.
Wow, what a horrifying experience to go through.
That was a low left hand from Peden.
You know, he had stitches in his forehead, too, which certainly causes a lot of problems for any boxer. Terrible to get beat in any fight, especially with a stick.
Well, and he said he didn't really know what was happening. He said he was dead asleep, and he woke up, and he had already, the worst damage had been inflicted actually before he woke up.
Good thing that didn't go on his record.
Yeah, he lost that one. Bring it up.
That may be what it takes, though.
Oh, nice jab. Look how sharp. Good. Snapping jab right to the point of your opponent's chin.
Real good body work, though, by Rodriguez. He threw 3 body shots there, and they all landed on Peden, who's got to guard against wildness. So that's when he missed that shot. Rodriguez did a good job of countering.
Rodriguez really now sharpening up. He realizes he's got to be fast with this kid. He's too quick. You know, that's why he's going to the body. Rodriguez downstairs trying to take some of that speed away from Robbie.
Still to come, of course, our main event after the IBF Middleweight Championship. Bernard Hopkins, Antoine Eccles. This a 10-round fight in the junior lightweight division. Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez. And Rodriguez, nothing if not fit. I mean, he comes in here absolutely giving himself the best chance to win the fight.
Yeah, and he's got to do that against a guy like, Peden. He's just 26 years old. Peden, he's in great shape himself. Rodriguez, he's a rugged individual, and his body is definitely cut.
Again, a low blow from Peden. We'll be back.
That's it.
There's more to crispy flavor in our bite-sized taters.
It's time you tried McCain Tasty Taters. Baked so they're crispy and golden brown on the outside to capture all that tender potato flavor inside.
Crispy bite-sized taters that lock in all the flavor.
Mealtime, snack time, anytime. McCain Tasty Taters now come in 5 crispy bite-sized flavors.
Try your favorite flavor in our bite-sized taters.
McCain Tasty Taters. Crispy flavor in a bite-sized tater.
Is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love.
This round 5 of a scheduled 10-rounder, Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez.
Rodriguez fighting well enough to just barely lose every round. It appears so far to me, Barry, he's in every round. He's competitive every round. He lands punches every round, but I don't think enough of them.
Still a dangerous guy. Yes. Got to respect him. All right, now let's go to Sean O'Grady, who's in the corner of Robbie Peden. Sean?
Thanks, Barry. Roger Bloodworth is over here in the corner. Roger, what do you like?
I like everything I see so far. We wanted an opponent that would take Robbie more rounds, one that had a lot of experience. This guy's been in with 2 or 3 world champions, and I like the way Robbie's boxing. He's taking his time. The guy's a little bit clumsy, but he's breaking down slowly.
It seems to me that Rodriguez now trying to go to Robbie's body, try to slow him down a bit. Does that give you a problem?
No, except the referee's letting him stick the head in. What we're going to have to do is just counter with uppercuts. We have to do what we had to do.
Do you try to go in this fight for the knockout?
No, I never try for a knockout because my philosophy is you Robbie. Hey, Robbie does. You learn your business by going rounds. You know, and 1 round knockout's going to do you any good. You have to learn your craft.
But he does have 1-punch KO power.
He can. Yeah, if he lands on you, you're gone.
All right, Roger Bloodworth. That's it from this corner, you guys. They like what they see, and it's working. Robbie Peden.
All right, thanks, Sean. And Roger Bloodworth, a guy who just really knows his stuff. I have great respect for him.
Yeah, he's a very calm guy in the corner. He was even calm with Andrew Golota in the corner. In fact, he seemed like he was bending over backwards to be extremely calm with Golota in the corner during the fight with Michael Grant and seemed to have everything under control until Andrew surprised us once again. Didn't he, though? Surprised Roger. Doesn't want to win. It's remarkable. And I've seen that in athletes in other sports. Can't stand prosperity. Peden doing some different things in this round, backing off a little, Barry, and showing some defensive skills, forcing Rodriguez to miss, but not throwing as many punches. Peden's still working that jab well. Puffiness that was alongside the left eye of Peden is not appreciably worse. Both fighters have landed their share of low blows in this fight. You just saw that last one from Rodriguez. Well, so far as we take a look back in this, the fight style was established early here in round 1. You see Rodriguez telling the referee immediately that was no knockdown, and he was right. Not counted as so by Jorge Alonso. But Peden was putting the pressure on. They're complaining about a low blow, but not protecting himself at all times was Rodriguez, and Peden made him pay for it. Peden has just been coming forward and continually putting pressure on. As you see it time after time, and in that case, he just put his hand behind the head of Rodriguez and just kind of helped him to the ground. And he did draw a warning from Jorge Alonso for that. Jorge went into his corner a couple of rounds ago and said, any more of that stuff, I'm going to deduct a point. We haven't had any problem like that since. So you see what Robbie Peden has done when he's gone past the 4th round. He's not a guy who necessarily thinks he's going to go in there and get everybody out of there, although he has shown a good ability to do that, 9 out of 14. It's round 6. We're going 10. Yeah, he certainly seems willing to learn, Peden does. He's been training, by the way, up in Big Bear, California, which is up at just a little over, actually, a mile-high altitude. So he gets himself whipped into really good condition up there. Going back home to Brisbane after this fight, though, spend the holidays with his family. Comes from a boxing family. His dad was a fighter, his uncle was a fighter. He said, even my mother's fought a little bit. Good left hand there, although Rodriguez shakes his hand and says no. That usually means it hurts. I thought he was maybe trying to shake the cobwebs out a little bit there, Barry. It seemed as though he felt that one, I'm pretty sure. You know, Peden, I got after our show a few weeks ago when Peden debuted here on Fox Sports Net, I received quite a few emails from people over in Australia who saw the fight, who were glad that we all were able to see him here in America, and they have very high hopes for him in Australia. I think we're going to see an awful lot more of him. Sean O'Grady mentioned earlier what a great amateur he was, so this guy was a known quantity even before he turned pro. He was in a couple of Olympic Games back in 1992 and 1996. They lost to Serafim Todorov of Bulgaria in the Olympic Games in Atlanta. actually thought about turning pro after the 92 Olympic Games. There was some pressure on him to do that, and he felt, no, I'm just too young. I'm all right. He was only 18 years old at the time. As I mentioned, he lost in the quarterfinals to Chol Choi-soo, Korean fighter in 92, but he had won 3 fights before that and really impressed everybody. But he knew he wasn't ready for a professional career at that point. And the Korean went on to win the gold medal.
Little blood from the nose of Robbie Peden. Shouldn't be a problem.
Peden, by the way, has never been past 8 rounds, and tonight, if the fight continues in the same type of vein, he'll be stretched out into that area, and it doesn't look like he'll come up wanting in that area, I would think.
We talked to him about that too yesterday, and he said, I've been waiting to go 10 rounds, so this has not been fear of his, it's been something that he's been anticipating.
Look at Benito, man, he's just coming forward, unflappable really, is Rodriguez. He's keeping himself more than just competitive in this fight.
No, he's right there, and he's still very dangerous. I mean, he's a guy who can get you out of it. I like that they're testing Robbie Peden against the guy of Rodriguez's caliber. He's been wild the last 15-20 seconds, has Rodriguez. Another pretty good round, I thought, for Peden. And Rodriguez started to get a little bit wild. Right now, let's go back into the dressing area. The champ, Sean O'Grady, is with Antoine Eccles. Champ?
Thanks, Barry. You know what? You're a little nervous until you get to about this point where you get your gloves on, you get your hands wrapped, you're ready to go in there and fight, and Antoine Eccles has gotten to that point now. He is fired up. He's ready to go. Loosening up a little bit calms the nerves, and it makes you know what you want to do. You go through your fight plan, you run through your battle plan, make sure you got it in your mind. Also, this pad on your trainer, you get a little retribution here. You get to hit the trainers a little bit. All right, Barry and Rich, this is exciting.
All right, thanks, Sean. Better get out of there before he wants to hit you.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy who's worked up a good sweat already.
Yes. We talked to him yesterday, too, about the being nervous and are you going to be nervous having a big stage? And he said, no, absolutely not. He said, I've never been nervous as a professional fighter.
And yet when we talked to him, he did seem to have a sense of nervousness, but I got the feeling it was more about actually just being interviewed, perhaps, with a camera.
That's what I think, too.
A few inches from his face than he was about the fight.
This is round 7. Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez.
Rodriguez has got a face. It just looks like it's been chiseled out of stone.
And he really is fit. I mean, he's coming here in very good shape. This is not a kid, Rodriguez. He's 33 years old.
Always gives a good effort. You wonder how a guy, Barry, like Benito Rodriguez, had he taken a different course in his career, rather than fighting all those world champions that I told you. He's fought 9 world champions in his career, and really top contenders like Golden Johnson and Judy Espadas and Jose Noyola and a lot of these others as well. I mean, real recognizable names from the very beginning. Had he approached his career different in his management, if he had any, approached his career different early on, if he might really have gone further than he has, rather than be a simple journeyman.
Yeah, because he does have some skills. And in fact, all you really have to do is look at his record, Rich. In his 4th fight, he went 10 rounds. In his 5th fight, he went 10 rounds. In his 7th fight, he went 12 rounds. So if that's not being rushed, I don't know what is.
Well, that's my point. That's a kid who's not being allowed really to develop, that is being thrown to the wolves.
Now, to further that point, he only lost one of those fights. And he is a fighter that really does seem to have some skills. I mean, he's absolutely fit, as we've said. He does have a strong right hand, even though he says his best punch is his left hand.
As I watch Peden here, I think really he's going to have success because of that left jab of his. It's going to really set a lot of stuff up for him. And he's so quick with his punches.
And that right hand uppercut lead just then was a terrific combination. Good left hand when he got Rodriguez off balance there. Very effective in this round. A little bit of clash of heads there.
Now, Rodriguez doesn't actually keep it a secret when he feels like he's been wronged in there.
Rodriguez may be starting to wear down a little bit. Getting a little bit wilder with his punches, and he's being hit a lot more by Peden. We come to the end of the 7th round. We got a lot more to come from here in Miami.
This filter was taken from a furnace humidifier. It's completely clogged by calcium and lime deposits. But watch what happens when this filter is dipped in CLR. Clear, the most remarkable household cleaner you've ever used. These same hard water deposits make your shower doors and wall tile dull and nearly impossible to clean. But CLR wipes away even caked-on hard water stains from bathroom tile and shower doors. These calcium and lime deposits cause your shower heads to spray in all directions. But just dip your clogged shower head in CLR and instantly it works like new. Coffee decanters often get so stained they look like they've been permanently etched, but a little CLR makes the stains instantly disappear. Ceramics and plastics don't rust, but the minerals in your water cause rust to form in your bathtubs, sinks, and basins. Now watch how easy CLR wipes away those unsightly stains. Yes, if CLR can clean a filter this badly clogged, then you know how fast and easy it will work for you.
At participating Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, Safeway, Co-op stores, Revy Home and Garden, Pro Hardware, Do-It Centers, True Value Hardware, Beaver Lumber, Zellers.
Still to come, our main event, the IBF Middleweight Championship, Bernard Hopkins and Antoine Eccles. Coming up after this is round 8 of a 10-round junior lightweight fight, and a guy you're going to be seeing a lot more of, I believe, Robbie Peden of Brisbane, Australia, against Benito Rodriguez.
Fighting long fights is certainly familiar territory for Benito Rodriguez. Looking through his career, he's fought 57 times. You know, he's only had one fight that went under 3 rounds. Usually when you're starting off, it's a lot of those early round KOs. Not the case for Benito. He's had to work just about every time he's come to work.
I showed you that comparison earlier between these two. Experience edge completely.
No, I got it.
In the corner of Benito Rodriguez. And he's been active right along, too. He hasn't had any appreciable time off. This is his 3rd fight this year. Fought 5 times last year. Continues to get peppered with that jab with Peden, which is a very good weapon.
Well, Robbie's got a guy who is coming in on him, and when he puts that jab on him in such successful fashion, he should build upon that and launch some combinations off of it. He's throwing the jab almost exclusively in this round.
One thing that has struck me, and I don't know if this struck you this way, Rich, but Rodriguez was using that right hand a lot early in the fight. And about 2 rounds ago, I saw him shaking the right hand as if it would hurt. And this round, I've hardly seen him throw it, so just to show it to people.
Yeah, he's shaking it. I've seen it about maybe 2 or 3 times that he's done that.
Well, he did it right there.
Doing it right now. I don't know if that's with a hurt hand or if he's just trying to distract Peden with it. Peden gets around the ring pretty good. Quick-handed. Last couple of rounds, though, not being the bomber Peden, being the boxer Peden.
There's a good right hand from Rodriguez. Rodriguez, as we've said, always dangerous, and he's had a lot of knockouts in the late rounds. Headed for the end of round number 8. And Peden's jab, the big weapon in this round.
Let's say you've got a cold. You're stuffed up, you're coughing, your throat is sore. Now imagine this is new Alpine Cough Relief Gum. And inside, menthol and eucalyptus that starts to relieve your cough and stuffy nose fast. So how do you get at this medicine fast? You chew it out. Suffering from a cold? Alpine Cough Relief Gum.
As back in the dressing room of Bernard Hopkins as he starts to loosen up, and you can see he's already broken a pretty good sweat as well. Meanwhile here we start round number 9, Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez. uncharted waters now for Robbie Peden.
Rodriguez trying to pick it up, and Rodriguez trying to make his statement here at the beginning of the round if he can, and he's doing just that.
Yes, he is. A straight right hand got there. Peden's jab, though, has been very impressive. That time he hit on the break. On your card, Rich, decided edge for Peden.
And yet I see Rodriguez is being very competitive in the fight. You take a look at that score, and that's because Peden's doing just enough in my mind to win each round. But nonetheless, Rodriguez is in there every round. He's more than just in there in this round. I think he's won the first half of this one.
And he's competitive. Blood from the nose of Robbie Peden. They weren't able to stop that too much between rounds. They tried.
Robbie far less offensive-minded here in the last 3 rounds than he was earlier in the fight.
Well, there again, it could be that mental barrier of going 10 rounds for the first time. Every fighter will tell you, no, I'm not worried about it. And every fighter deep down inside has that big question mark, can I do it? And that may be what's happening to Peden here. There's a good right hand by Peden.
Left eye beginning to swell again, closing up from underneath.
Let him go.
On Peden.
Good right hand by Rodriguez. That back Peden off. Even at this late juncture, Rich, you have the feeling that Rodriguez still could muster something up.
Yeah, well, he's mustered a little something up in this round. He's mustered a pretty good offense, and he's got Peden concerned. Not hurt, but concerned.
Jab in the right hand missed a little bit. Peden's going to know he's been in a fight when he looks in the mirror now.
It'll still look better than after that terrifying experience that he went through earlier. So, man. He talks about it so calmly.
Yeah.
And almost a cavalier attitude.
Three nice punches, actually, from Peden, even though he's off balance on all of them. But I don't know if it was enough to salvage the round. Good round for Benito Rodriguez. Right now, let's take it back into the dressing area. Sean O'Grady has made his way back in the area where Bernard Hopkins, the champion, is. Sean?
Thanks, Barry. And that's what they're fighting for, that World Championship belt, the IBF Middleweight Championship of the World. You had a chance to look in the other corner room to see, dressing room, to see what Antoine Eccles was up to. Check out this corner, this dressing room. Now, there's a lot riding on this fight for Bernard Hopkins. He knows the importance, and you know your fighter's ready when he's just a little bit accurate in his comments. And that's what I get from Bernard Hopkins. A little bit edgy, but that's the way you want to be, because he realizes the importance of this fight and the significance of a victory for him tonight. Going for his 10th defense of his middleweight championship fight. Back to you guys at ringside.
All right, thanks, Sean. Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Look at these guys. They call me executioner. That's what that's all about.
Bernard used to actually wear the hood into the ring.
Yes, he did.
Maybe he'll break that out tonight again.
What I started to say, though, is I think it was a little bit edgy even earlier at the beginning of this program when Sean interviewed him. Bernard Hopkins, as you know, never met a sentence he didn't like, and he's usually good for 5 minutes per answer, and he was, by his standards, curt with Sean. And I think that's a result of his mind's on something else right now. I've never known Bernard Hopkins not to be ready to fight.
No, I think that's certainly a fair comment. I think, Bernard is trying to sell himself as someone who's a superstar, and there are some who believe that is the case. But he's had continued fights with promoters in his career, and he finds himself in that same situation even now.
But once he gets in there, he has handled everything put in front of him. Meanwhile, a final round here, and Robbie Peden, should he be able to stay out of harm's way, will put another notch in the belt. And this was not an easy one.
No, and I think he had a far different attitude the first 5 or 6 rounds of the fight than he has in each of the rounds since then.
Nice counter right hand off the ropes.
Rodriguez has been making him work, bringing the fight to him, puffing up his face. Learning experience for the young man.
Of course, Rodriguez would need a knockout in this final minute to win the fight. You did give him the last round, though.
I gave Rodriguez the last round. Yes. He's doing pretty good here. He's got plenty left. Rodriguez looks like he could fight 20 rounds to me. I kind of expected him to wear down a little bit.
And it looked like he was after about 6 rounds, but you're right. He's found something else here. Working it now pretty well. Up on his toes. His left hand right there, right on the button. Good right hand there.
Robbie trying to close the show strongly here. Prove to himself and everyone that he can give 10 strong rounds.
I think that's always difficult for a fighter, despite his saying that it's not. And he has done it, and I think he has done it with a victory, unless we are really shocked, but I can't imagine that happening. We'll come back at the decision here in Miami after this.
A lot of folks demand more than just a sweet treat. That's why they go for Cadbury Wonder Bar. Wonder Bar is peanut butter wrapped in smooth caramel and covered in Cadbury's delicious chocolatey coating. Cadbury Wonder Bar tastes Wonder Bar.
When you get stiff, aching muscles, ever notice how the little things in life seem somehow bigger? For fast relief, remember, one Advil is often enough. Advil for today's tough pain.
Welcome back to the Miccosukee Resort. We're here in Miami on a balmy night. Activity in the ring was pretty hot for our first fight. Robbie Peden and Benito Rodriguez. Let's find out who wins it now as we go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Mark Streisand, scores at 98 to 92. Rocky Young and Peter Trematera both scores about 99 to 91. All three in favor of the winner. And still undefeated, Robbie, the Bomber Peden.
So Robbie Peden runs his record to 15-0, and a good learning experience for him, I think, Rich.
Yes, he was a step up in class without question. He fought a good, experienced foe. He learned a lot in there, and most of all, he got the W.
And learned that he could go 10 rounds. He's going to have to do it again, and probably more than that, too. That's our first fight. Our main event still to come, and in our main event, it is the battle for the IBF Middleweight Championship. The challenger, Antoine Eccles, and the champion, defending for the 10th time, Bernard Hopkins. That's all coming up when we come back to Miami. We're at the Miccosukee Resort and Casino Middleweight Championship on the other side of this.
Some men's strength beneath a cloak of darkness. Their legacy toils between fact and fantasy. Without warning, their fury explodes in a damaging barrage of flesh and bone.
Florida. As he mentioned, it's summer here, despite the fact that winter is setting in everywhere else in this country. As we come now to our main event, and it is for the middleweight championship of the world. The holder, Bernard Hopkins, the challenger, Antoine Eccles. Antoine Eccles is a guy who was knocked out at his very first professional fight, believe it or not, since that time. It's been all good for him. 22 wins, 22 knockouts. Average length of fight, less than 4 rounds. He hopes to get that job done tonight as well, but he's going to have to get it done against a very tough customer. He is the champion, Bernard Hopkins. This will be his 10th title defense. You can see he's used to going a lot of rounds. Bernard Hopkins is a guy who has gone through a very circuitous route to get to where he is right now. And where he is right now is as the holder of the IBF Middleweight Championship. He wants more, but to get more, he first looks back. He is rooted in the mean streets of Philadelphia, but Bernard Hopkins has risen above it. His fists have earned him and burned him. They put him in jail for 6 years, and later they took him to a title. While Roy Jones dropped him, he rose again to fight, to win, but never to take it for granted.
Exactly. That's my famous quote. From the streets to the penitentiary to the world championship. So I had to be a man quick. I had to be a thinker quick. Never got comfortable.
Now he wants his just due, the respect that goes with making everyone's best pound-for-pound list, and the big payday that goes hand in hand with the respect. Great fights make great fighters. His message to Antoine Eccles tonight: have a great fight.
Let's focus on doing the best we can do and being the best. Because you, as far as I'm concerned, aren't your number one contender spot. Let's do the show.
Antoine Eccles has really destroyed everything in his path in his 6-year career. 22 wins, 22 KOs. And as his opponents grew in stature, the harder they seemed to fall. In February of last year, he stepped up to face Brian Barbosa for a minor title. Enter Antoine Eccles. Exit Brian Barbosa.
Barbosa took me to another level. I learned to pace myself, and my style turned into more of a boxing style, that fight. And he was just a good fighter, and I learned a lot from him.
The path for Eccles is wound through Davenport, Waterloo, Cherokee, and Tunica. Tonight he hopes to cash in against a guy who wants the world to notice him.
I was been a champion for 5 years, and I would love to take that title from him.
Well, Rich, if Barbosa took him to another level, I have to think that Hopkins is going to take him to the top of the Empire State Building. This is a big jump up.
Yeah, but one thing I kind of like about it is the fact that Hopkins has actually challenged Eccles to a fight here tonight. Let's fight it out. Let's put on the show he says that De La Hoya and Trinidad did not put on. You got one guy nicknamed an Executioner, the other guy nicknamed Kid Dynamite. That, to me, spells action from the beginning.
Yeah, and there's always a special edge to a championship fight when in that championship fight both men have that proven ability to get the other guy out of there. So will it be the Executioner? Will it be Kid Dynamite? I can promise you one thing. There'll be a lot of explosives in this fight upcoming.
It's been a part of our country for generations. On neighborhood streets from coast to coast. As Canadian as winter in hockey. Home Hardware, helping Canadians build their dreams. Look for these featured products. Noma landscape lights create uniform lighting fast and easy. The Porter Cable Reciprocating Tiger Saw Kit has a pivoting front shoe. The Quicksand Random Orbit Sander has swirl-free sanding action. The Honeywell Cool Moisture Humidifier with removable, easy-to-fill tank gives you comfort and relief from dry indoor air. Home Hardware, where help is close to home.
Freedom. Control. Just you and your laptop. Log on to autobytel.ca for vehicle pricing, product reviews, and a low, no-hassle price. autobytel.ca. Below your next car.
We welcome you back to Miami. Rich, let's talk about our upcoming fight now. This for the championship. Antoine Eccles is the guy that I would have to think is going to have to go out and earn Bernard Hopkins' respect, and he's going to have to probably do it early in the fight, I would think.
Well, I think he's going to try that, Barry. I expect him certainly to go let his fists fly. If he is reckless defensively, it may cost him. I do not expect this fight to go to the distance, however. I think one of these guys is going to fall tonight.
All right, let's take you back to the dressing room area, and it's the area that both fighters now await to make their entrance into the ring. The champ, Sean O'Grady, has been in this situation I don't know how many times. Sean, is there any way that you could describe the mood of what these guys are thinking right now?
Yeah, great contrast in these two dressing rooms. Right now, Bernard Hopkins' room, they are fired up, they're excited, they're ready for Bernard Hopkins to go in the ring and get right to work. So expect a fast start from him. In contrast, right next door is the dressing room of Antoine Eccles. He's relaxed, he's calm, he's kind of sitting down now, just trying to take his time, and that could mean that he's going to have a slow start tonight. Well, we'll have to see. Could be an exciting first 3 rounds. Very Rich.
All right, thanks very much, Sean. So here comes Eccles into the ring now, and he is met by the sound of one hand clapping, I think, right now. One thing about him, he does not look particularly nervous. There's another factor here, too. Unlike a lot of arenas, Rich, this is a rather short ring walk, so there's not that much time to get the heart beating like a butterfly.
Yeah, and I think Eccles really is the kind of guy who has been fairly passive about it all anyway, so I think that's the attitude that he's going to take up those steps into the ring.
And you can see him coming in actually covered up in his silk leopard skin head covering, and now he removes it to make his way into the ring. But this is a time that most fighters that I've talked to, they want to be alone. They're just going to kind of get within themselves, not really thinking about too much, but just sort of letting things happen as they happen and not getting too caught up in the emotion of the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there can't be great emotion when you step into that ring for a world championship fight for the first time, and that's what's happening with Antoine Eccles right now.
Now, Bernard Hopkins is a guy who has been there and defended his title 9 times successfully so far. He has done away with the executioner's mask this time. He